Hey guys, Coach here. Welcome to this week's video. This week I'm going to talk to you about 5 key indicators that may show you that you have way too much landscape or way too much yard. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for taking a few minutes. Hey, don't forget the website, youryardcoach.com. If you happen to be in the market for a little bit of landscape education and landscape services, not installation, but consulting and online virtual consulting, etc. Okay, so 5 key indicators when it comes to showing it that you may have a little too much landscape out there. Maybe you've bitten off a little more than you could chew. So let's look at number 5. Number 5 would be a key indicator that you have no plan and no vision when you look outside. That's a key indicator that maybe you're in a situation that you need to have a little outside help, that you can't seem to get through that closed door of landscape development. You can't even come up with an idea on what can be taken out, what should be put in, and do it correctly. So looking at something like that, what would be a solution? The solution might be that you have family and friends give you some input. You have neighbor friends that are in the neighborhood that might give you some input. You have saved some money and maybe you can have a consultant come over and suggest based on your current lifestyle. And if that current lifestyle is for the foreseeable future, that's how you should approach something when you have no vision whatsoever. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. Number 4 is dread. You have absolutely no desire to be out in the yard. Now, yes, that may be an indication of size, yes, but it also boils down more to passion, responsibility, and just a total lack of desire to go out and maintain what you pay such a huge amount of money for every month. So a lack of desire and a feeling of dread when you look outside and you just kind of close the blinds because you just ignore it. And that is the beginning of a downward spiral. As a responsible homeowner, irregardless of whether you do or you do not like it, you signed up for it. And you really need to push through that and delegate it if you can afford it, or mainly make it a team event. If you have kids that are of age that can help, time to put them to work. If you have a spouse or partner, it should be a team effort. So what are some solutions to the dread? Dread and lack of desire is generally conquered by forward momentum. Temporary, hopefully permanent. You acquire some knowledge. You acquire a little bit of skill set when it comes to maintaining things out there. Now, I don't know if this happens to be you, but when you look outside, do you go, nope, maybe next week, maybe next month. I am not in the mood. That kind of attitude oftentimes leads to downward spiral in other parts of your life. When it comes to irresponsibility of not taking care of something outside because you just hate it, sometimes that leads over to, well, I hate the yard, but I also don't clean out the garage. I don't sweep the driveway. I don't change the oil in my car when I should. I don't walk the dog as much as I should. I don't take care of the ranch the way I used to or the way I should. And just one thing compounds on another and another and another. So what's the solution? That forward momentum. Acquiring some inspiration, some knowledge, and going out and accomplishing small tasks towards the goal first. Grow on those accomplished tasks after completion and grow it back into something that you're proud to look out the back window or the front window of your home. It's where you live, and it should be a shining example of how you feel about yourself, about your neighborhood, and about your immediate community. The other thing is there's other eyes watching. If you guys have kids and your whole attitude is next week, next month, I ain't doing it right now, and I don't give a gosh darn what anybody says, little ears, little eyes. And they're going to grow up with that mantra in their head. And are they going to mimic it? Or are they going to realize when they become adults that, yeah, mom, dad, both, yeah, they never, I'm going to take care of what I have. Okay, number three. Number three would be something along the lines of, you go to the back pocket, you pull out the wallet, and you look at it and you go, yeah. The checkbook, the bank accounts, and everything else do not allow you in either way, DIY or delegating and hiring, just does not allow you to do what you want to do because of the size that you have out there. Now, that could be that you have champagne taste on a beer income. That could be that you need to reevaluate how much you actually can develop, if anything, or you have to go out there and you have to ship shape what you have. And if you desire and you have the passion to improve what you can according to the resources that are at your disposal. Disposable income, basically. Let's take a look at number two. Number two is a total lack of teamwork. You got no support. Maybe you have the desire, but you're limited in the skill set and physical capabilities to actually do what you want to do, and you have no support when it comes to family, friends, spouse, kids, etc. And based on your limitations of whatever they are, you cannot complete the task. So you shrug your shoulders and you go, we'll just do it. We'll just leave it for now. And that rolls over into weeks, months, years, etc. And the problem compounds itself the more time that goes on. Without a team approach, I could not have taken on Brook and Pond. I could not have taken on Weed Patch Ranch if I didn't have Maestro's support. Both actually boots on the ground, in the trenches type of support, but also just knowing that you have that other person that says, oh, I know you got this, and out there helping me dig and plant and do other things that she did. That's support, and I cannot emphasize how important that is when it comes to taking on a project, big or small, especially one where you're kind of like, you're not sure exactly how to go about it. Even if your other doesn't know, if they just said, hey, let's research it and we can learn together, that's everything. That is an absolute everything. But without that, chances are that big yard out there will never improve to the level that you'd like to see it. Okay, let's look at number one. The number one reason, not necessarily the most important or the most obvious, just the number one reason. And that is total lack of confidence, skill set, and the capabilities, tool-wise, vehicle-wise, etc., that you never do anything. I'm not going to say that that's an excuse, because those types of things can be easily overcome in this day and age. You can rent things to accomplish. You can garner families and friends in the area if you have them. You can rent vehicles. You can rent almost anything to go out and tackle a landscape. But what people tend to do is they shy away from the unknown for fear of failure. Prime example, Got an email from a person down in Southern California who is a first-time home buyer. I don't know how they did it. They must have some dollars somewhere. However, the picture that they sent me showed a half of a rather large yard that's going to need some TLC. It's going to need some sweat equity. And the title of it was, "Where do I even start?" That's a key indication of a couple things. Lack of knowledge, lack of skill set, maybe without the yard in mind. What they wanted to do was to renovate everything, have grass put down, and that was going to be it. Well, in Southern California, you just can't put down grass. Not too many places anymore without an irrigation system, more than a hose, because if you do it with a hose, you're sure asking yourself for a lot of time out there one way or another. The other thing is taking on a project like that as a first-time home buyer, not knowing where to start, is a key indication that it should be you tackle this on this weekend, you tackle that on that weekend, and you plan those steps out so that each weekend you succeed. And with the success builds confidence. With the success gives you the direction of what you need to do on the next task, maybe for the next weekend. And by the end of this summer, I'm sure that person, based on some of the information that I gave him, if he tackles it in a way that I suggested, he's going to be or she's going to be very confident by the end of the summer, where maybe they can go get a rototiller and some compost and grass seed or sod, whatever they want. If they want to put in an auto irrigation system, whatever they want to do, they probably will be at a level where they started out down here, and already just with the demolition and cleanup, they're already up here because they took the initiative to learn, to reach out, and to actually start to execute. So, when do you know that you have too much yard? Choices start when you're out shopping for the homes. You have to know yourself, and you have to look in the mirror before you start the shopping process. And you have to be able to gauge yourself when you go and look at things. Because oftentimes, home shopping becomes an emotional thing and not a financial business thing. If you put the emotion aside just a little bit, not all of it, but just a little bit, and look at what you see and get rid of statements such as, "It only needs a little TLC." "We can do this. It's only going to take a couple of weekends." You know darn well you don't have the skill set, and neither does the person you're living with. And now you're facing, "Gosh, did you remember that house over on Main Street? Man, it had a huge yard, didn't it? Boy, if we went out there..." That's when the reasonable person needs to go, "Yeah, we're not into gardening, and you know that. We have 4 kids, 3 are in t-ball and soccer and ballet. We don't have time for a large yard." So sometimes those kinds of decisions have to be made, and discussions, constructive discussions, need to be done. So think about that. Large yards needing a lot of renovation is quite a bit of money. Even in a DIY situation, it can be quite a bit of money. But with a little bit of planning, a little bit of outside help, and a little bit of inspiration, you can do it. I guarantee it. So there's 5 indicators that your yard may be a little too big for you. I hope you got something from that. Hey, over on the website, if you happen to be shaking your head right now and realizing, "Hey, that's me," you might want to check out that very inexpensive 15-step DIY checklist. It'll tell you how to get from A to Z, and you can start and do it at your own leisure. I hope I see you over there. And if you do purchase something, thank you very much in advance. If you have any questions about these 5 indicators, drop them in the comments below. Or feel free, if you don't want to share it with the world, you can always just email me and we can chat back and forth about it. Hopefully get you to the starting line and across the finish line together. As always, to your guys' landscape success. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope we get a thumbs up and a subscribe if you'd like to learn a lot more. Bye for now.